Hello, my friends. So once again, the book Living in the Light, Yoga for Self-Realization is going to be available very soon. And if you want to pre-order it, then Sarah Finger, my co-author, and I will be very grateful to you. But now I want to actually talk to you about what I really want to talk about today. And that is, and I'm going to move this book out of the way so it doesn't interfere with our picture. So what I want to really talk about today is that no experience in existence, including the experience of your body or your mind or the world, no experience in existence has a location in space-time. I'll repeat that. No experience in existence, including your body, your mind, and the world that you experience, has a location in space-time. In other words, all existence, including your existence, because you're part of existence, is actually outside of space-time, and therefore what we call non-local. And therefore, the real you is never subject to birth or death. The real you is timeless in every aspect, timeless. And so when I say ageless body, timeless mind, we are referring to your causal body, which is ageless, and the timeless mind, which is non-local awareness, where all experience is processed. Now let's see how we examine that. Okay, so first take any object. Take an object such as your hand, or take an object such as this pen, or take an object such as this iPhone, or take an object such as this book. Take any object and actually ask yourself, how do I experience that object? Well, one way to experience it is by the activity that we call seeing. And when you see anything that we call an object, before you can name it or call it an object, before you can call it a pen or a hand or a jacket or a sweater, before you can call it, when you're seeing it, all that appears on the screen of awareness is a color, a shape, a form. And they're all the same. Color, shape, and form are the same experience. Okay, so seeing is color. Is there such a thing as an unseen color? Even the question doesn't make any sense. And so where is the seeing happening? The seeing is happening in awareness. In fact, the seeing is a modified form of awareness, knowing itself as that color, as that shape, as that form. Okay, so let's see this. There is color that appears in the activity called seeing, and it appears in awareness, which is modifying itself as that knowing, as that color, as that shape. Now, is there such a thing as an unseen color? No. Where's the seeing happening? In awareness. In fact, it's a modified form of awareness, knowing itself as that experience, color. It modifies itself. Color has no location in the physical world. No location. Similarly, sound has no location in the physical world. It is an experience called hearing, which is awareness knowing itself as that sound, knowing itself as that sound. Similarly, texture. There's no location for texture in the physical universe. It's an experience in awareness as a sensation. And the same is true of fragrances and flavors. They don't have any existence in the physical world. We call them sensations, and there are sensations as sense perceptions, which are modified forms of awareness. Okay, so now that we've established that perception is what gives us the experience of what we call objects, and these objects are sense perceptions before we give them a name. As soon as we give them a name, then they become objects. As soon as you give another being a name, they become persons or animals. So it is the name that creates this experience that we call separation. Okay, it's a flowing movement. Sensations, sense perceptions are flowing movements that bubble in and out of the field of awareness, just as qualia. Qualia means qualities of experience. Sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell. These are qualities of experience. And they bubble in and out of a formless awareness, which has no borders. And therefore, actually, even in and out is inaccurate. They're just patterns of movement of the formless field experiencing itself as qualias of experience. You know, when people talk about qualia, usually they give examples like the smell of garlic or the taste of onions, etc., etc. These are good examples of the taste of red wine, but qualia simply means quality of experience. Just like quantum means quantity of measurement, the qualia is a quality of experience, and it's just a fluctuation of the field of awareness knowing itself as that. Now, the field of awareness also creates language. Language is not something that you and I created or even humans created. Language is just the evolution of awareness knowing itself as a symbol of experience, and then communication of those symbols of experience. I'm using symbols of experience, words, to speak to you. But as soon as language is there in the form of symbols of experience, and there's a storyline to that, that is identified as a person, and storyline of persons and objects, then suddenly the world of separation appears. You, me, the computer, the Milky Way galaxy, hands, iPhones, objects, etc. So this is what is literally the word being the flesh. So once again, no perceptual activity has a location in space-time. And then we say, okay, that is described usually in ancient wisdom traditions as the physical body and physical objects. But in fact, they're conceptual. There's no physical object, it's a concept. And the physical body is the projection of the story. It's also called the conceptual body, or the body of karma. Karma just means past experiences which are never in space-time, but given names, they are reified as the objects, persons, animals, stars, rocks, galaxies, plants, everything that we call an object. So naming an experience, which is a flowing experience, qualia are fluctuating, not even in and out, just as bubbles, in the same way as, what we call virtual particles appear and disappear from the quantum vacuum as determined by the uncertainty principle. Thoughts also bubble in the field of awareness as determined by the uncertainty principle, because you don't know what your next thought is going to be. And yet stringing together these thoughts as a story creates the appearance of the body and the physical world. Okay, so now I think it's very clear that the physical body has no location, or what we call the physical body has no location in space-time. What about the mind? Well, if the mind is embodied and relational and a process that regulates the flow of information and energy in an ecosystem of living beings, then the mind thought has no location. So even thoughts are just bubbling as qualia, qualities of experience. What about emotions? Same thing. You can't say anger belongs to me, or love belongs to me, or compassion belongs to me, or shame belongs to me. It's just a quality of experience that bubbles out as a feeling of separation or as a feeling of unity. If you're experiencing love, compassion, joy, equanimity, that's a different experience, but still, it's just a qualia. What about imagination? Does imagination have a location? If I ask you right now, imagine the Empire State Building or the sound of John Lennon's voice singing Imagine, or imagine a rainbow or snow-clad mountains or whatever, those images flash out of awareness or in awareness, and they're ephemeral. They're just going back and forth, and they have no location in space-time. They're not even back and forth because there's no inside out. It's just like the ocean that appears as bubbling waves and foam and all of that. It's just the ocean appearing as that. And so to our qualia, awareness appearing as that. Okay, now we've seen that just like the physical world, physical body has no location in space-time, nor does your mind, nor does your imagination. What about your personality? Your personality is a collection of stories identified with your name. And those stories have no location in space-time. Memories, images, desires, none of that has location in space-time. So how did we create the illusion of the theater of space-time and causality, and then all these concepts like karma and everything? How did we create this illusion? Because of this illusion, we also, and identifying ourselves as living beings in the illusion, also created huge conundrums like, the concept of birth and death, grasping and clinging, the ephemeral qualia that are ungraspable, recoiling from the ephemeral qualia that are also ephemeral, intangible, identifying with the personality that is a provisional story and has no location in space-time either. So nothing in existence has a location in space-time. Your body is a changing activity of qualia, so is your mind, so is your ego personality. And ultimately, if you go beyond this, the body, mind, intellect, ego, what's left is the seeds of experience in a non-local awareness based on the interpretation of past experiences as what we call store memories, store imaginations, store thoughts. But even though we use the word store, there is no location for that storage. They exist as potential memories, potential images until the moment you have them, and potential perceptions until the moment you have them. And then suddenly there's me and there's everything else. But this me is everything else moving in space-time, or the appearance of space-time is everything else moving or appearing to move in space-time. Why? Well, here's the trick, the name. As soon as I say, I am Deepak Chopra, then I squeeze my identity into the volume of a body in the span of a lifetime, which is actually the storyline of these qualia. Okay. And once I do that, then every conundrum, recoiling, grasping, not knowing who I am, identifying with provisional identities that change every second. And then, of course, the big one, the fear of death, which is a construct based on other constructs, symbolic representations that are finite in an infinite, formless domain of all possibilities, which is who we are. That's the real meaning of Aham Brahmasmi, or the world is Brahman. Okay, Brahman, Brahmand, or Tattvamasi, you are that, all this is that, that alone is. Also, that's the deeper meaning of Sat Chitananda, Sat, timeless, eternal truth, Chit, awareness, and Ananda, the joy, the bliss of knowing that the self is the ultimate reality, that what we call Atman is Brahman. The self of the individual is the self of the universe. This knowledge can be very liberating, and I've taken you through an exercise to show, I hope, that that which we call the body, that which we call the world, that which we call the theater of space-time, are all conceptual entities that are given birth to in awareness. They're conceptualized in awareness, conceived in awareness, they're processed in awareness, they are governed, their activities governed in awareness, and they are the becoming of awareness as all this and all that. This is everything. And so is this. And so is this. And that, if everything, is you. Figure that out. Let me know what you think.